Hey guys, TommyBryson here, and today we're actually going to talk about a good problem to actually have. And that's basically, Tommy, I have money, but I don't know what to do with it. I saved it up, now it's there, I'm tempted to go ahead and spend it, but I don't know what to do with it. And by the way, when I was 19 years old, I had a massive spending problem. Every dollar that I got, I used it to buy trash, meaning things that I bought didn't add value, didn't make me money. In reality, it was sneakers and buying other things out there and going out to eat, all this fancy stuff that in reality, in no way actually added value to me. However, when I was also 19, I also decided, hey, I should stop this. And I stopped it, okay? And I got a budget, I started saving money, and my goal was to hit 10K. I got to 10K, and guess what happened? When I had all that money there, I didn't know what to do with it. I grabbed that money and I bought a lot of trash, okay? And that is what I want you guys to avoid. Having money but with no purpose is never really a good thing. Although, it is a good problem to actually have. So in this video, I'll give you a full-blown plan on how to use money and how to give every dollar you actually make a job to actually do. This way, your money always has a purpose, and it's not just, for example, hey, I want to have 10K in the bank, or 20K, or 50K, or 100K. The answer is no. Your money has to be working for you in some way to give you more and more money. Now, if you guys are new here, I post videos every single day, so you should also subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified. And on top of that, also destroy the like button. Now, the first thing, guys, I have to do is erase the idea that saving money is actually a good thing, because in reality, it's not. By itself, it actually gives you three main problems. And that's basically opportunity cost, inflation, and also you're giving up the compound effect of money. Now, opportunity cost. Tommy, what is it? It means, for example, my mom spent 20 years just saving up and saving up money. Well, around 25 to 26 years now, okay? And the idea is all she did was save money, save money, save money. Now, don't think that's all bad, because in reality, she has it paid for a house, it paid for a car, and she has enough money in the bank to take care of her for at least 5 to 10 years or so. However, though, if you spent that same amount of time investing money, producing more and more money, that money then could have taken care of her not for 5 years, but forever, okay? That's the whole idea. And on top of that, that money there could have bought her that house, and she didn't need to rely on any saving up a ton of money. So whenever you're going ahead and just saving up money, in reality, because you're not earning any money on it, you're giving up the opportunity to actually have that money work for you and produce something for you in exchange. On top of that, inflation. Inflation is basically every single year, the value of a dollar goes down. The buying power of every single dollar goes down by around 3%. Meaning, for example, if you remember when you were like 10 years old or like 12 years old, Doritos used to go for around 25 cents or like 50 cents, like for 2 packs. But now today, they're going for around $1.50. Meaning every single year, that $1 you have in your savings accounts is worth, for example, 3 pennies less. And as that keeps compounding and compounding and compounding, eventually the money you save is worthless in the future. In 10 to 20 years, that money is not going to be worth actually anything, because basically you're giving up all of the gains because inflation is going to take over. So when you ask me, Tommy, well, my savings account gives me 0.10% or, for example, 1%, 2%, in reality, you're not doing anything. Your money is not growing, it's actually losing value. So by saving up money under your bed, in a blanket, in a savings accounts, you're actually giving up a ton of money and also a ton of value. However, last thing, the compound effect of money. If I gave you $3 million cash, or the option to actually pay you 1 penny doubled every single day for 30 days, which one would you pick? The answer is obviously is going to be the penny, right? Because you guys already know this trick, right? Because basically in 30 days, that 1 penny doubled is going to equal around $5.3 million, because basically your money keeps compounding and making more and more and more money. Now, although this is an extreme example, when you just invest, for example, $800 every single month, okay? If you invest $800 a month, multiply by 12, so a year, $9,600. Now, if you invest this money over 30 years, well, you put in, for example, just 288K. However, if this money grows at around 10%, you would actually have somewhere around $1.7 million. That is the cool thing about the compound effect of money. And that's why usually, if you're not investing or making your money grow, you're losing opportunities, it's costing you money with inflation, and on top of that, you're basically missing out on all the compound interest you could basically get. And that's why saving money is not as good as an idea as you actually think it is, okay? That's what I want to break down right here for the first part of this video. Now, Tommy, okay, I understand that now, but what is my money supposed to do for me? What are the main jobs for my money? In reality, your money should only have really 3 jobs. The first job is security. The second job is to basically produce for you some income, and on top of that, to allow you to go out there and enjoy the good things in life. Go on vacation, buy expensive dinner, buy that t-shirt you wanted, buy that purse you want, whatever you want, okay? The answer is, it should allow you to do that. Although I'm very frugal, I also want to enjoy the nice things in life, but only when my money can pay for it and I don't have to worry about it. You don't want to go out there and spend money on a credit card. I'm living the good life. No, you're borrowing the good life, and at a moment, you might go bankrupt. That is not what you want. Now, here is the plan to actually do this. And by the way, this plan is called the Freedom Steps. It's also in combination with my budget, and it's called the Simple Budget. All this stuff I basically created myself, and this is my full-blown plan that I'm going to give you. Now, the first thing is, when it comes to money and building wealth, the first step should be to basically reset all the damage you actually done in the past. So basically, the first step is all about, hey, I want to get rid of all the debt I accumulated. For example, student loan debt, credit card debt, personal loan debt, a car loan. All this stuff are basically just traps to go ahead and take a piece of your income every time you get paid. So you basically want to pay those things off. And on top of that, sometimes you might just want to sell them, sell that car, sell those things you bought, and pay it off with that money, and that way you're good to go. However, some of you guys right here might not have any debt and can go ahead and move over to step number 2. However, if you do have debt like the average person, here's exactly what you want to do. By the way, skip to this part right here if you don't have any debt. Now, the first step is this. You want to go ahead and save $1,000. This money is going to be for emergencies. This money should not be used for anything else. And if at any moment while following this plan, you spend this money, you want to go ahead and refill it back up and then continue with the entire plan. On top of that, every time you get paid, you want to split your money into 6 different jobs. 6 different things your money has to do for you every time you get paid. Not just spend your money, no. You have 6 jobs now with your money. And the first job is, every time you get paid, you want to set aside 1% of your income for emergencies. I know you have $1,000, but yes, I want you to build a habit of saving up that 1% for emergencies. That way you can build it up a little bit more and a little bit more. Now, the second job is investing. You also want to invest 1% into your investment account, whether that's your 401k with your job or your Roth IRA, or for example, a taxable account. Down below, I have a link to a video on my portfolio and exactly which one I use and why I invest the way I invest. Now, the third job is paying off debt, the main sector of this section right here. And the idea is you want to grab between 26 to 46% of your income to go ahead and pay off debt as fast as possible. Now, you want to use the avalanche method, meaning, for example, you want to go from the highest APR, which debt costs you the most money, to the lowest APR, which debt costs you the least amount of money. So basically, you pay the minimum on all the debt, and the debt that costs you the most money, the highest APR, you pay the most money towards. That's the core idea of how this actually works. Now, job 4 for money is to cover your expenses, right? Now, expenses should not exceed 70%, but should not usually go below 50%. However, if you do have a massive income, potentially, you could live on 10% or 20%. But for the average person, 50 to no more than 70%, okay? Because at that point, you're spending way too much money. Now, this might mean you have to sell your house. This might mean you have to sell your house. It's too expensive, I'm sorry. Or it might mean I have to move from this fancy area to a less fancy area that's gonna cost me a lot less money. That's the core idea. Expenses include everything. Your living expense, your gas, your food, utilities, and all of those things right there, okay? Then, the 5th job is fun. Your money should give you some form of fun, but right now you can't afford it. So the answer is you put aside 1% just for having fun. Again, we want to build habits here. Habits are the core foundation of becoming wealthy. And lastly, charity. That's also a job for your money. Charity should be 1%. This way you get in the habit of actually giving money. But Tommy, 1% is not going to make a difference. The answer is it will make a difference, and it will also make a difference in the way you think, because if you don't give money now, you probably will not give money later. And what I want to do with this video and my plan is to help people become wealthy, but also help other people by helping those people actually get into a habit of actually giving money to the people that need it the most, okay? That's the core idea. Now, once you're done here, paying off all your debt, you want to move on to step number 2. Now, step 2 is basically building a foundation and also building wealth. How do you do this? You want to build a fully blown emergency fund, and on top of that, also start investing more money. So basically, by this point right now, job 1 is emergencies. You should have $1,000 inside there, also some extra money. And on top of that, now you should be required to put around 10 to 20% of your paycheck into an emergency fund until you get up to 3 to 6 months worth of emergencies. Okay, this way you have foundation. This way, if you get fired, it doesn't matter. Now, job 2 is investing. You should raise it from 1% up to 10 to 20%. This way you start investing more and more money in this order. Usually you want to max out your Roth IRA first, then max out the employer match that you actually have with your employer and your 401k, and then the rest of the money you put it into a taxable account. That's the core idea. And again, video down below on how to invest your money and what to invest your money into. Job 3 is debt. By this point is 0%. You don't have any debt anymore, which is awesome. And then job 4 is expenses. Again, right now, I recommend you have it at 54%, but it can be between 50 to 70%. Although I highly recommend you have it at 54%. So you live on just 54% of your income. Fund can be raised up to 5% now, and charity can stay at 1%. Again, we want to build the habit. Now, once you saved up 3 to 6 months of emergencies, now you can move on to step 3. And by the way, if you already have like 10 to 20K in cash, you can basically fund the emergency fund and basically just move on right into step 3. And that's basically all about building freedom. And your goal here is to go ahead, invest a lot of money, and on top of that also buy your home. Meaning, the most expensive thing usually is going to be a house where you actually live. Now, if you buy a home, it should not exceed 33% of your income. No more than 33% of your take-home pay, including the mortgage, the taxes, insurance, and also the maintenance of the property. This way, your property is not taking all of your money. That's the core idea here. So emergencies, job 1 is fulfilled. It's fully funded. The money should be there. If you lose this money or you have to spend this money, the answer is you fill it back up and then continue with the plan. Job 2 is investing. Just keep investing between 20 to 25% of your income. Tell me what 5% extra. The answer is if you're going to have kids, you want to set aside 5% extra to a 529 account. This way your kid has money for college and all that fancy stuff. This way your kid doesn't start from zero, but they actually get some help in the future. Also, debt. You might say, Tommy, I don't have debt anymore, but the answer is if you're going to go ahead and buy a property, right, you're going to have debt. So the answer is if you don't have a property, you want to save between 15% of your income for the down payment to put around a 20% down payment. However, if you already bought the property, the answer is you want to put aside 15% extra to pay towards the mortgage, meaning you pay the mortgage, but you also want to pay 15% extra to pay it off fast. In basically 10 or 7 to 10 years, you should be done with the mortgage, and this way you're there a lot faster. Your expenses should not exceed 54% by this point, meaning you spend 33% of your money on your housing expense, most likely, and then 21% on food and taking care of utilities and so on and so on. 54% is going to be hard, but by this point, you should be a master of how everything actually works. Then fund stays at 5% and charity stays at 1%. Now, once you're done buying this house, you actually own it in full, you pay it off completely, the answer is you move on to step number 4. And by the way, Tommy, well, why would I buy a house? Why not basically get a 30-year mortgage? The answer is the job is you want to have financial freedom. And as long as you owe that money, you don't have financial freedom, because basically if you lose your job, you're going to have a problem. However, if you own that house, your living expenses, your living cost is so low. And this way, you have a lot more options and also a lot less stress. Now, step 4 is basically autopilot. By this point, you have a paid for house, emergencies, and on top of that, a ton of money in your investment. So basically, emergencies, 0%. Investments stay at 20 to 25% if your kid is still not in college. On top of that, debt is 0% because basically you already own your house, you already have no debt, which is awesome. Expenses can be raised up to 64%, meaning you don't even pay rent or mortgage. So basically, you have a ton of money to eat out if you want to buy something you actually want, to buy a car you actually want to have if you actually want to buy that car, right? Because basically, you're living on 64%, but in reality, you don't have any crazy expenses. For me, I'll probably spend this money on buying a fancy car or buying some fancy things for the house, maybe rebuilding the house, whatever you actually want to do. But the answer is you get to live on 64%, and that is awesome. Also, when it comes to fun, you raise it up to 10% and charity at around 1% or 10% depending on how courteous you actually want to be, okay? But I highly recommend you do 10% because by this point, you should be used to actually giving and you actually enjoy it by this point. But overall, guys, by the end of this plan, okay, in reality, you have a paid for a house, emergencies, and everything's taken care of. Now, this plan is a 10 to 12 year plan. It is going to take a long time unless you have a very high income. But the answer is, guys, if you make 4K every month and you invest 20% for 30 years at a 10% return, you should have around $1.7 million in the portfolio I recommended. Okay, that's the objective right there. And on top of that, you have a house you actually own that also appreciated a ton, and that way you also have money and equity right there also. And that is a great feeling, and that is the core idea of this video. That's the job of money. If you want to invest more, you can if you want to. If you have a high income, you can spend a lot less money on your expenses, and that way you get to the goal a lot faster. That's the idea here. But guys, comment down below and let me know, does this help? And are you willing to actually do this for 7 to 10 to 12 years? If the answer is no, consider this, okay? You'll probably spend 35 years trying to retire, okay? Or 45 years trying to retire. And then you might not even have enough money, okay? And that is not what I want for you, and that's why I actually recommend this plan the most, okay? But guys, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. As always, like if you liked it. On top of that, also, subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified when I post a new video. And if you guys want to text me or talk to me one-on-one, join my Patreon, link down below, or send me a DM on Instagram at TommyBryson. If you want to watch that video on portfolios, and the one I actually use, here's that video right here. See you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and as always, peace.